Hello, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Jerome Wilen, the news reporter for Wrestleview.com.
Yes, welcome to Wrestleview Live number 5. We are very excited to be here with you tonight. It's not our usual time, but honestly, we've done 5 of these shows, and this is the second one to not be on a Saturday.
Right, Wrestleview News number 5.
It's a big one. Now it's like, it's getting official. Once is luck, twice is skill, 3 times a trend. We're at 5, so we're doing all right.
Yes.
Welcome to the beginning of WrestleView's WrestleMania weekend content here. So today we're doing WrestleView News number 5. Me and Jerome, and we're gonna have a good show tonight. There's a lot of news to talk about, a lot of stuff to get into. We're gonna have a special guest talking AEW tomorrow night, Friday. After SmackDown, I think about 10:30. So just watch out for the live stream. We'll have a link to it after our show is over. WrestleView Weekly with Mr. Doug Lackey. And then Saturday is WrestleMania Night 1. We'll have WrestleView Live number... Oh, I better get these right. Number 74. And I believe WrestleView Live number 75 is going to be on Sunday. So we have a lot of content for you. And then, of course, can't forget... I'm going to get dirty looks if I don't mention this. On Monday, immediately after WrestleMania, post-Raw, number 77. Me and my wife, Victoria Tedesco. If you're a new subscriber or if you're new to our channel, watching us for the first time, welcome to the show. Please press the subscribe button and like the video. Yeah, that would mean a lot to us. It goes a long way. And you'll be notified, obviously, whenever we have any new content up. We are producing at least 2 shows a week. Well, this week we're producing a lot more than that. We got 2 to 3 shows per week for you, including this show right now, Wrestleview News. Me and Jerome will be chatting all things pro wrestling, not just WWE, but all over. But because of COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and we're kind of labeling this as our WrestleMania weekend coverage, we have to talk WrestleMania to kick off the show. What do you think, Jerome?
I think that's a good topic to start with.
It just kind of makes sense to me. It just does.
Yes.
So, Jerome.
Yes.
Last time we were on the air, we were talking about Roman Reigns reportedly not being part of WrestleMania 36. He had reportedly pulled out for health reasons. Well, it was confirmed by Triple H on SportsCenter. He had said that Roman did pull out. And then on Monday, finally, absolutely no question about it, Roman Reigns takes to Instagram and apologizes to his fans for pulling out of WrestleMania. WWE, because they taped all the shows last week before the stay-at-home order in Orange County, Florida went into effect. They taped both episodes, including tomorrow night's episode of SmackDown, last Saturday. And then they taped WrestleMania Wednesday and Thursday of last week.
Right.
So I'm guessing that they haven't made the announcement. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but I want to see what you think. Why are they still promoting Roman Reigns versus Goldberg right now?
Well, they did some tapings, I think, before Roman pulled out, and so they may have not had a chance to edit those yet. But we'll see if maybe those are edited. The SmackDown on Friday night will be edited to where it has Roman Reigns pulling out, maybe a voiceover with Michael Cole or some other type of other standalone announcement, maybe from Triple H, that Roman Reigns has pulled out, and then announcing Goldberg's new opponent, which we know is Braun Strowman.
Right.
And didn't they already tape the Raw after WrestleMania? Already as well?
They did also tape the Raw after WrestleMania, and as far as I know, on last Sunday, they were at Full Sail University, and from all reports, it was a very long taping. There's been a lot of matches on these NXT shows, Jerome. The last 2 weeks that I've covered, I think they had 6 matches last Wednesday, 5 or 6 matches last Wednesday. It was just, the show was just all wrestling, 2 hours of straight of just wrestling. And this show, even last night's show, had a gauntlet match. It had a long triple threat match. It had Kushida versus Joaquin Wilde, and Dexter Lumis made his debut, and Velveteen Dream was in action against Bobby Fish. So like they're not like shorting us out on those shows.
No,
and if it was long taping, if they taped 4 shows like that, man, that had to be a rough day.
Yeah, because I think they have maybe several weeks of NXT shows in the can now already taped.
I think so. I don't know this for a fact, but I would believe that they would have at least up to the takeover matches, all of the takeover matches filmed. So maybe it goes through April, all the way through April.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm trying to remember how many Wednesdays are in April.
That's a good question.
I'm checking it right now.
Look at the calendar here too.
There's 5 Wednesdays in April. So
okay.
I don't know if they have 5 episodes or if they have 4 or what's going on, but that might be the last WWE that we see for some time. We'll get into that in a few moments, but back to the Roman Reigns thing. They don't have anything else taped right now after WrestleMania for the main roster. And I put that in air quotes because what is a main roster anymore? Like NXT is on TV. Isn't that main? I don't know. They have Finn Balor on the show. He's main roster-ish.
Yeah, kind of. I guess. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Well, he didn't do well on the main roster, but he's there.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting. But anyway, they're still promoting Roman Reigns. I think you're right, Jerome. I just think it's part of it's like they probably don't want to let the cat out of the bag that like, oh yeah, give you more incentive to not watch the show. It's not, well, it was already taped. It's not live. Like we already know that Roman's out. Maybe they don't want to say something like that, or maybe it's just they just for continuity purposes they don't want to tell you that he's out, and then you wouldn't want to watch SmackDown where he's being promoted as being part of it. But they really have to announce something because for those that don't follow his Instagram or watch SportsCenter or go to Wrestleview.com where you can get all the best news. People are going to be purchasing this pay-per-view through Fight TV or through Fox or on the WWE Network, thinking that they're going to be seeing Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. They have to make. I think they have to make good on this.
They'd have to make the announcement, or they're going to look like fools if they don't.
Right. I obviously we don't know what tomorrow night's SmackDown looks like, because essential personnel only. So it's like 10 people max is the national guidelines, right? So if something were to leak out about WrestleMania or SmackDown, it's like, well, there's only so many people it could be. Let's just bring them all into a room and ask the question, see who squirms first.
Exactly. Yeah, no one wants to find themselves fired out the door.
But like, it would be like weird if they did that. Like, kind of. Remember the Raw before? It was so bad too. The Raw before WrestleMania 31 when Reigns and Lesnar did that tug of war. Like, do you remember that?
I don't remember that. No.
They didn't do any physicality. They just Reigns grabbed the title and they had like a tug of war for the WWE title, and I was like, oh, that's so bad. It looks so stupid. Like if him and Goldberg do something like that, like it'd be tough to like they have to like obviously film a segment where he's like laid out or something. But the problem is they taped the show, and it was days later that he decided not to do WrestleMania. It was the day of, I guess, of his match.
Right. So did they go back and edit that segment out of SmackDown so that he doesn't appear with Goldberg in a segment on SmackDown on Friday? I mean,
yeah, because I mean you could edit the segment, but I'm sure that the commentators and all the commercial lead-ins are talking about Goldberg and Reigns in the same ring or something like that.
Yeah, unless they go back and doctor the tapes up.
I guess, and would it be that difficult? Because all they would have to do is just show a longer match, right? Like show a longer replay of an old match.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's easy to just take that out.
Yeah. So as of right now, officially, It's Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. We know better. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And we know that from Roman Reigns and Triple H
Right.
and
Right.
Stephanie McMahon also came out today and said something that, they're not holding it against anybody for backing out.
Yes. Right. And I still think Goldberg's going to go over. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I like Braun Strowman's been teased so much, through the years that it's just, what can we do? Anyway, so moving back on, another couple of our reports were also confirmed as well. Well, actually, one in particular with Andrade being out with the rib injury. So
yes.
he must have gotten injured on last week's Raw taping, and because Zelina Vega came out on Raw on this past Monday, which was taped on Tuesday. I'm trying to keep all this stuff in place in my mind, while also from being quarantined, I no longer have any clue what day of the week it is. I have no clue.
Yeah,
they're all just blending together.
I know.
So she comes out on the stage for something that was taped last Tuesday, and says that Andrade's injured, and she has the hottest new free agent. And I just put this up as a rumor. I had read it. It was only on one site, but it's a site that I kind of trust. And it wound up being Austin Theory, formerly from Evolve. He's only been signed with them for 7 months.
Yeah.
Number one, congratulations to him. It's a really great opportunity, but it just shows you that right now there's no depth. They're not gonna. They don't have the luxury of flying people out to kind of save them, and they already killed Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. So and their faces anyway. Why would they go with Angel Garza? So there's just Mysterio's quarantined. But it's funny. Well, I guess they couldn't use Humberto Carrillo either, unless they wanted to do the Odd Couple tag team.
Mm-hmm.
But they chose to go with Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So that's been confirmed. What have any thoughts on Austin Theory?
I haven't had a chance to look at his work, so I really can't comment on his work. But I've heard it's really good.
It's crisp. He's a 22-year-old guy. Obviously a kid. He's got a lot to learn and all that stuff. But he's definitely has something. I was really impressed. Not this past Wednesday, but last Wednesday. He was on that taping of NXT, that hellacious taping they did on the Sunday.
Yes.
It was him versus Tyler Breeze, and he was talking so much, Austin Theory, during this match that I was like, it actually made it seem like there was a crowd. He was just talking so much and he was emoting so much. I was like, I was like, this is probably going to open some eyes. I didn't think it would open eyes like that where he'd be on WrestleMania, but
yeah. Well, it's a different WrestleMania, different type of card. So it really, if this was the regular WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium, there wouldn't be any Austin Theory on WrestleMania this year.
No, well, there wouldn't be. There wouldn't even be Andrade and Angel Garza going for the tag titles anyway, because Rey Mysterio wouldn't be quarantined, and Humberto Carrillo would still have his spot, and
right. Yep.
There's a lot of changes. There's another change being made that I thought was interesting, which they haven't announced yet either, probably because of the SmackDown tape. Is The Miz is definitely out. And how do you rectify that? That's going to be the big thing. Like from what I understood, Miz, they announced at the show that Miz isn't on WrestleMania, so John Morrison had a triple threat tag, not a tag match, but just a triple threat ladder match for something, and I don't know what it was for.
Yeah, so obviously the tag team titles, SmackDown tag titles aren't being defended or were not being defended at WrestleMania.
Right.
Is that? Yeah.
That's from what I read in the reports, but not confirmed. That's what they made it sound like, which is That's the right move, I guess, because if you put somebody with Morrison, then that person has to become the tag team champion, and then if Miz comes back, because we don't know if Miz has coronavirus, we don't know anything, but
no.
Interesting thing on Instagram though that did happen was, I think it was Jey Uso, and the story with the Roman Reigns thing happened was the Usos were upset that the Miz came to the Performance Center and he was not feeling well, and I think I don't know if he didn't I don't think he had the 100.4 fever, but he was let in not feeling well or something like that. They told Roman Reigns, who's immunocompromised, and he decided, the best thing for my family is to back out.
Yes.
I lost where I'm going with this. With the Miz, so he's kind of like, directly there. Again, like they have to kind of like announce something for him as well, and like when's that going to happen and what's it going to look like?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Friday show's going to be interesting to see what kind of edits they've done, just to make it so it will make sense for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And another thing is that we don't have a lineup for either show yet. The only thing that we know is that Rollins and Kevin Owens are going to be on Saturday night because Kevin Owens said it in his promo.
Yeah. So the lineup's a mystery. So we don't. I mean, I would expect that Saturday probably would be the Goldberg, Braun Strowman, to close the show on Saturday, and then Sunday would be. It would make sense to close it out with Edge and Randy Orton, I think, for the last man standing. But who knows?
I know. Well, I actually thought, like, I'm sure they want to do like Drew McIntyre. They are pushing that match so hard, and that I am looking forward to that match.
Right.
But I was thinking like night one, and it'd probably be fun to like fantasy book like what matches are going to be on what night. I would love to see Edge versus Randy Orton close out night one, because even I was saying on the post Raw show, even with no crowd, this feud just feels hot. Like the promos, even without the crowd, have been tremendous, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Like I think that's like the one match that's like really hanging me on to the WrestleMania hype is Edge versus Randy Orton. I really want to see it. Yeah.
I think probably Edge will. I don't know. I was thinking Edge will go over, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe Randy Orton will go over. I just don't know.
I know.
That one I can't call.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's almost like if Edge doesn't go over, it's like, what was the whole point of this entire thing? Especially because he's got like a real, from reportedly he has a real sweetheart deal with the company, where he can pick the dates that he wants to work and all that stuff. So and he's getting paid good money too. And reportedly, the whole reason he's getting paid that good money is so it was to keep him away from AEW.
Right. I read that same thing, so I don't know.
Which is funny. So they paid him all this money, so it's like, don't you want to protect your investment?
Yeah. Right.
But I don't know. Am I missing any WrestleMania news so far, Jerome? I
don't think so. I think we've covered it pretty much. Other than we don't know what matches are going to be on what night.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we need to talk about Orange County. Well, not just Orange County, but the entire state of Florida. Jerome, you want to take us on that story?
So the governor of Florida, it was yesterday, put in a stay-at-home order for the entire state for 30 days. So that messes up WWE's taping schedule. Where are they going to go?
Right.
Are they going to even attempt to maybe go to Georgia or a nearby state and try to tape? I don't know, because now Georgia's under the same thing, a stay-at-home order. So what's the other state? Looking at my map, South Carolina. I have a map on my wall here. North Carolina, Alabama.
They're all. They are all on lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Or we just. I don't know. I'm looking at my map. I mean, Mississippi, Louisiana. I mean, I don't kind of see. I'm looking at my map here on my wall. I just don't. Right. I don't know. I mean, do they just throw on best of Raws, best of SmackDowns, maybe another pay-per-view or two?
Well, that is a great question, because New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, I believe Pennsylvania as well, or they're all sharing the same lockdown rules. I think Delaware is as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can go to the Titan Towers, the old Titan Towers, and tape there, because they're not an essential business. That's
No,
really what it comes down to.
right. They're not.
Now, Florida is a little wonky, in my opinion, because it's like the governor, Ron DeSantis, had to be dragged kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Almost had to be shamed into it to,
Right.
Even allow a shutdown to happen, right? So,
Yeah.
He said that, people are allowed out of the house for essential activities like going shopping, retail shopping or whatever, or going
Sure.
to church, which is like, I don't know if that's like, the best thing, but it's like, after a while, is it going to be like, well, I think it's an essential service for entertainment purposes, So like I did email WWE. I didn't hear back from them about what they're planning to do for their taping schedule. But if it comes to pass that they don't have a place to go, as more and more states lock down, and it's expected. I don't as of right now. I try not to turn on the news too much, but as of right now, from what I read in the paper before we came on the air, pretty much is that they're going to be issuing an order to the entire country to where everybody has to wear a cloth face mask when they go outside.
I saw that earlier today.
Yeah, and it's like if we're getting to that point, is there going to be any state that's just not going to say, you know what, lockdown, lockdown, lockdown? They don't have
Right.
they have everything up to the Raw after WrestleMania in the can. NXT has shows, I believe, through April in the can, but SmackDown, the SmackDown after WrestleMania, as far as we know, is not taped. They are not able to use the Performance Center as of right now. At least reports state that they have not been able to go there because of this lockdown or the stay-at-home order. And it's going to be really tough. Like the Performance Center is kind of convenient because they've moved their roster. Like a lot of the guys and girls, they all live out in Florida.
Yes.
So it's not that difficult. Like, it's difficult for Undertaker to get out there because he's from Texas. It's difficult for Goldberg. Oh, it's not really that difficult because Goldberg's, I believe he's in Georgia, but he might have moved to Texas.
I think he's in Georgia.
Okay, there you go. But like, everybody's in proximity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna say, okay, well, we're gonna move to Arizona where the climate's better and COVID is not thriving in this area. Do you think that's like a fair thing to ask your roster to do?
No, they're not going to hop on a plane. I doubt any of them are going to want to jump on a plane, let alone drive that distance.
Right. Well, you got to drive those distances, and then eventually you're going to get hungry. You're going to have to pull over and go try to find a place that's open and get food and be around people. And
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we have no idea. I mean, Wrestleview News number 6 next week could be just like the bombshell of all bombshells. We might be on the air next Saturday.
Right.
After a SmackDown that was that was a replay from 5 years ago, for all we know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or there was some pay-per-view that was a SmackDown pay-per-view from several years ago.
Right. But but what the contingency plan is, I don't know. I couldn't even venture a guess. I don't even think WWE knows what the heck it is.
No, I don't think they know what they're going to do at this point. I think they're scrambling, for one, and two, they're trying to respond to all the emails they're getting about what's going to happen after that Monday after WrestleMania, that show they've already got in the can.
Right. And just speaking of that Monday after WrestleMania, just because it always just pops in my mind, it's like they taped that on Tuesday. They taped WrestleMania on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm sure there might have been a title change or two. Somebody's coming out with a title that they didn't even wrestle for yet.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. And what are the ratings going to be like on the Monday after WrestleMania weekend? I mean, usually they're higher than they normally are, but for this show, I don't know if Raw is going to even hit a 2.0 on Monday or not.
The ratings, Jerome, are going down exponentially, and I'm gonna have to bring up my cheat sheet because it's not just WWE; it's also AEW. Well, those are the only two that are on the air that at least subscribe to the Nielsen ratings. God only knows what Impact is doing.
Well, they don't subscribe to the Nielsen, so who knows what they're getting on Access TV? I don't know, but I know on Twitch they don't get many subscribers. I remember when we were watching it on that Friday night, they had 6,000, maybe 5,000
really
watching.
That's what
because they would show on the lower left-hand corner. They would show how many viewers are there, and so you'd see when they would go up and down, up and down, up and down. And so it's averaging like 5,000, 6,000. It's like for a show that had, like 2.1 on Spike TV is, dropped substantially.
Well, God,
but I don't know
how many
on Tuesdays. I don't know what they do on Tuesdays. I have no idea. So
yeah, no, I couldn't even venture a guess, but I can't imagine it's that great.
No, but with Anthem owning Access, it doesn't really matter to them. So that's their TV station, or network rather.
It's really more at this point. It's more of a passion project than anything.
Yeah.
But looking at the Raw ratings for this past Monday, and this is the go-home show to WrestleMania, by the way.
Yes, I saw those ratings.
You know what? I wish I could pull up my spreadsheet right now, but if I do, it's just going to explode this whole entire thing. I don't want to do that. I keep a tally of every single week, and the first week of the, obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin drew a lot of interest, but also the empty arena aspect of it was a curiosity thing. So on the March 16th show, I think they did 2.4, 2.4, 2.1 for those 3 hours. Which those are great numbers. So those are not bad at all. They're even better. I think they're even better than the Brooklyn show did the week before.
Yeah.
After that, they dropped. It was one of the lowest that they ever did. So it was 2.006 million viewers, which at the time was like pretty close to like their lowest ever.
Right.
This week, Jerome, for the go-home show of WrestleMania, and I get it, ratings, they just throw them out the window because it's unusual times. And yeah, totally. Absolutely, yes. I agree. But it's just showing that, they're, I talked about it on Post Raw with Victoria. I talk about it here. I'm going to talk about it everywhere, probably. I already have severe empty arena fatigue.
I think a lot of people do at this point.
It's just it's a weird show to watch with no crowd reaction. It's just it's not that interesting, when you watch it like this. And granted, the promos that they've been cutting have been so much better because they probably have time to rehearse them and all that stuff. But and if they don't like it, they can just retape it. But good promos aren't enough to carry a show. This week they did 1.924 million viewers, and the third hour of Raw did 1.646 million, which is the lowest hour in the modern history of the show.
Yeah, it sounds like the old Monday Nitro Raw Monday Night War rating.
Right. And granted, I can appreciate that, there are a lot of people, especially in my area over here and in your area. And I don't know where the viewer is watching from, but it may be in your area too, where a lot of people are suffering from coronavirus. And so it's things like wrestling and watching shows on Monday night just don't mean as much when you're kind of curious about what is going on in the world right now.
Exactly.
So, if people just kind of tap out on watching wrestling for a little bit, it's almost understandable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's no question about it. People are tapping out. Now, usually when something like this happens, and I kind of want to get your opinion on this. Usually when something like this happens, like when SmackDown did all their time moves, or even Impact, like we were just talking about before, they switched channels in the last 5 years, 6 times or something like that.
Yeah.
Before they wound up.
Impact went from. Well, yeah, because they went to. I got to think. So they started off on Spike, then they left Spike TV, went to Destination America,
right,
and then they went to Pop TV, which was the old TV Guide channel,
right,
and then they went. Before Spike, they were on Fox Sports Net, and then
Yes.
from there, they went to Spike, then from Spike to Destination America, from Destination America to Pop TV, and then they went to the Pursuit Channel, and then from the Pursuit Channel, which is an outdoor sports channel that's in Canada, they went to now Access TV. But while they were on Pursuit and now Access TV, they simulcast on Twitch for those that don't have Access TV, and those that didn't have Pursuit either.
Could you imagine? Oh my God, it's relying on Twitch for viewership at this point. It's like, yikes.
Yeah.
But every single time, so like Spike was doing great numbers. You know, like I bet you AEW and NXT dream about numbers that TNA was getting on Spike TV. Like, what do you remember what the numbers were, Jerome?
They were running like 2.0. There was I think 2.1 was like the highest rating they had at one point, but they were usually averaging between 1 and like 1.1, and then it started to tank during that time that Hogan and Bischoff came in, and then after they were gone, it just kind of went downhill from there, and
they never recovered.
They never really recovered, and I just think they had mismanagement. I mean, I don't know Dixie Carter, never talked to her, but I think she had a lot of people in her ear that were telling her how to run the company, and I just think it was a mess.
Well, she didn't come from the wrestling business, so it's like, it's very easy to get bamboozled by a guy like Vince Russo who, talks very sweetly and, will promise you a whole bunch of things and not come through.
I know. And then when Billy Corgan came in, I thought Billy did a great job. Those shows were starting to get really entertaining.
Yes.
And then the whole broken Matt Hardy gimmick, and then they did this Grand Championship, and it was actually catching my attention. This is when it was still on Pop, and I had cable and I had Pop TV. I was watching it, and I thought, this is really good. But my thought that the reason why Dixie didn't want Billy Corgan to take over the company is because he wanted the 100% ownership, and under Anthem, she has 5% ownership, so she still gets a little piece of that pie financially that Billy wasn't going to give her, and so that's the reason why I think she stopped Billy Corgan from owning that company 100%.
Right. So she's probably getting a sweet check every 2 weeks of about $48.28.
Yeah.
Billy's doing a lot better, though. I mean,
I think so too. With NWA, I really like what he's doing with the National Wrestling Alliance. So
me too.
When they're back up and running again, I'm going to start watching, the shows again, because I haven't really had time to watch a lot of them. But I think the wrestling versus the promos, the promos are much better than the wrestling on that show, I think.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. And it just feels like those old studio shows. I kind of like the nostalgia of it. I turned on one the other day just because there's really nothing on TV. Unless you want to be totally, depressed about the news and stuff like that. But it's an entertaining show. It's an easy watch. And as a company, when it's so easy in the wrestling business, and AEW is the same way in a sense, it's so easy to just fall into sleazy tactics in this business, right? And not be able to take the high road, I've been doing retro recaps of WrestleManias, and it's like, is there a low road that WWE hasn't taken? As I watch these shows, I'm like,
yeah, I know. And speaking of studio shows, I still think, how far-fetched is it, or is it not, that once this whole COVID-19 stuff is over and people can start gathering again, how realistic is it going to be? I think it will be, that WWE, AEW will actually go to venues that will be kind of that studio-like feel, or a little bit maybe bigger than that, because I really don't think people are going to want to gather in venues that are 20,000, 13,000, 14,000, because people are still going to be hesitant about getting, having that social distancing, I think. So I really think that it would be smart for WWE and AEW to take it slow and go to those smaller venues and then start building up to the bigger venues over time. I think that would be just better for them, because at least it gets people in the building and they have a crowd.
Yes, yes, and the people that are there want to be there. I can't,
Yes, exactly.
that's the one thing that, that's like the big conversation that we've been having in the house, and I've been having with people I call on the phone. It's like,
Yeah,
I I can't, I don't know when, if they gave the all clear tomorrow and they said, okay,
yeah,
well, baseball's going to start up on June 1st and WWE's going to start having arena shows in mid-May, and they're going to start off in Brooklyn, New York.
right.
I haven't missed an opening day since 2013.
Yeah,
And whenever WWE's in the area, it's just I go to the shows. That's just what I do.
yeah,
I
sure.
wouldn't go to either of those shows, and and even if they were happening a year from now, so like let's say the baseball season doesn't even happen this year, and they just open up, next year. They just say the season's a wash, and they open up next year. Um, I don't think I'd be going to opening day even next year.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And AEW still has Double or Nothing advertised for May 23rd. They haven't canceled it.
Right.
They've got the Blood and Guts rescheduled for July 22nd, but are they going to be able to fill up that? If they have it July 22nd in New Jersey at the Prudential Center, are they going to be able to fill up that Prudential Center given the circumstances? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, Newark right now has like New Jersey, we have a stay-at-home order in our state, and essential personnel only, 10 people max in a room, no religious services, no nothing, and
right.
A lot of great stories coming out of this though too, because they are taking it very seriously. But like Newark has even more draconian laws, associated with COVID, where they don't allow you can't even be on the streets after 8:00.
Yeah. Wow.
So, like. And as this thing continues to go on, and is anybody going to be ready to go to to pack into the Prudential Center, by July, when the county that Newark is in, which is my county as well, is the second highest total of people with COVID, and Newark has almost 1,000 cases, I think, in the city, and obviously because of testing, there's probably a lot more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This just doesn't feel like it's going away anytime soon, especially in this area. I think when they give the all clear, I think they got to do like a couple tours of like the Southwest and the, and Middle America kind of before they really start moving back to like the coast.
Yeah, right.
Because it's the coastal regions that have been just absolutely crushed by this coronavirus.
Hammered by it. Yeah.
This despicable virus, So
yeah, because our stay-at-home order just got extended to May 4th, so we're under the stay-at-home order for another month, and so our governor is actually going to veto. He said on this press conference that he's going to veto some bills that are going to help sustain the state better financially. So that'll help out here. I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll definitely see what happens there. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to NWA.
Yes.
They have done such a great job of handling this coronavirus situation. Billy Corgan's done a great job handling it.
Yes.
AEW has done a great job, as good as they possibly can, for a new company that it hasn't even been on TV for 6 months yet.
Right, I know.
Their 6 month. I think the 6 month anniversary is coming shortly. I think it's going to be on Saturday. Is their 6 month anniversary? I think they debuted October 4th.
They did, yeah.
On Dynam, on TNT.
Yeah. No, October 2nd. It was October 2nd.
Oh, it's October 2nd. So today is.
SmackDown was the 4th, October 4th.
That's
yeah.
it. I knew there was something in October that was like over and over again. I kept hearing the date. So today is their 6 month anniversary.
Yeah.
It's tough for a company to say to their network, we don't know how much longer this model is sustainable.
Right. I know.
Take this strictly as rumor, but AEW had to move out of Daly's place in Jacksonville because
they did.
And we had mentioned this last week on the show, just as an aside. And then it came out this week that they did have to move 100 feet away from Daly's place, which is where they were taping. They have a COVID field station set up there.
Right. Yes.
And it just didn't make sense to keep them there when there's going to be sickness around.
Exactly.
We don't know where they moved to. Initially, it was thought to be the southeast. Apparently, and we can't confirm this, so we don't run things on Wrestleview unless we can completely confirm it.
Right.
But the thought is right now they're in Georgia, and Georgia just issued a stay-at-home order.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they were supposed to be in Norcross. That's what the rumor was. They did the tapings in Norcross, Georgia, but there was other rumors about the Southwest, and so it's just, yeah, I don't know where they're. If indeed they were in Georgia, Georgia has the stay-at-home order. Now where? Now what?
Right.
But how much TV did they tape in Georgia when they did the show, on Wednesday night? They were supposedly live, so I'm sure they did tapings before and after. But how much do they have in the can to get them through?
I don't think that they actually taped that live. From what I understand, that show was taped on Tuesday.
Interesting, because it said, like, Tony Schiavone said, we're live tonight, live in this building, and then they had live on the upper left-hand corner, so they're doing that live.
Well, that's not the first time Tony Schiavone has bent the truth about being live or anything. He's well versed in that. I mean, although there's a chance that that they were live.
Right. Yeah, we just don't know.
From what I understand, they taped on Tuesday, but they were also taping on Wednesday, so maybe they taped a couple episodes ahead.
Could have.
Just to have something in the can, because maybe they're thinking like, okay, let's just try to get through April. And we'll do a lot of we'll tape a lot of content at our houses, but let's make sure that we have a couple really solid matches to fill up time through April. And because maybe they're thinking by the end of April, and that's right now that is the national guideline. The social distancing can end on April 30th. Obviously, it's not going to. This is going to go on for quite some time. And I don't mean to be Debbie Downer over here, but I mean, from where I live, and I know, Jerome, where you live.
I know. I'm trying to be optimistic.
It just doesn't. I just don't see an end in sight right now. There's just so many people dying around us. It's like, we're sensing the totality of the disease around us. We have family members who have it. One of them is immunocompromised. We're very concerned for them. And they all live in the same house together.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and so maybe they're hoping, and I'm hoping, I'm praying, that this is going to start to flatten. They're going to flatten the curve by April 30th. Maybe AEW is holding on to hope that there'll be a couple states where they're like, okay, we're ready to go back to business as usual, and they can go tape there.
Right. Exactly.
WWE is the real question mark, though, because Florida's out, and where do they go? They can't go to they can't go to Connecticut. They can't go to Georgia. They can't go to. You can't go to Louisiana. They're shut down.
No.
And where do you go where you can comfortably take your talent? I think AEW did the right thing by, if they did, it's reportedly, but I believe that they did, was to tape all these shows. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good for them if they did.
Good for them if they did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to have to consider, and there's a lot of things to watch out for. So
yes,
me and Jerome privately, we talk all the time about eventually at some point news is going to dry up for quite some time, as there's no more arena shows and there's no more big shows. WrestleMania is already will be over after Sunday, but there's a lot of stories to keep your eye on here. What's WWE's next move? What's AEW's next move?
Right. What's Impact's next move?
Right. Impact. And talk about, I talked about before Ron DeSantis kicking and screaming. Impact just wouldn't give up the ghost on a couple of their shows in April.
I know. They finally had to. They were forced to.
Right. And why do they do? I don't
Yeah, I don't know. I hope, I guess. I don't know. Wishful thinking.
Why do they do this?
I don't know. They're late to the party.
always. Even their one night stand for TNA last night or whatever they did.
Yeah, that was Tuesday night. Yeah.
They had Ric Flair in their thumbnail for one of their videos. It's like Flair wasn't there. Come on.
No, he wasn't. I know. It's why?
And it's like they carted Scott Steiner out there. That's the night that he had the big heart, condition. What if it was a heart attack or whatever happened to him, or he got lightheaded and fell, or whatever, needed a pacemaker, who knows, angina. It's like, that's what they're bringing out.
Yeah, I know.
Just, God, what an awful.
It was awful. It was lame.
Did you see
Head scratcher? No, I didn't see it because I don't have access TV, and
it's not my package. I pay a lot of money for this stupid package. I don't have access.
Yeah, no, I have a Hulu Plus Live TV, so we got rid of cable, and access isn't on that. So yeah, I probably could have watched it on Twitch, but why?
Yeah, really. That's always the question. That's the best question. Why?
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
And it's free too. That's the other thing. It's like there's no excuse not to watch it, but
yeah,
why?
I know.
I hate to be like that, but it's true. It's just, that's just how it. Why? Like, why do we need to do this?
Yeah.
All right, Jerome. It's come to the point in our show. I'd like to talk a little bit about Dynamite.
Yes, it was actually an entertaining show.
So there was a little bit of news coming out of All Elite Wrestling with the TNT Championship being created, and they're going to be having a tournament.
Yeah.
The TNT title.
Yes.
Thoughts? Your opinion?
My
Let's
thoughts?
go. Yes. I know them already, but you tell everybody else.
Yeah, my thoughts are, I wonder how much Warner Media had an influence on that title. And it's just an eye roller to me. Why don't they just call it the television title? It's basically what it is. But they're trying to be different, trying to be unique.
Yep.
But it's an eye roller for me, and it's just kind of like, I just, every time I see it, I just cringe.
I know.
And I just don't know how many people are going to take that title seriously. It's like a mid-card title, which is what they need, but you and I talked about, earlier in the week, but just call it what it is, or come up with something else as a mid-card title that people will take more seriously. Because I think the only people that are taking that title seriously is Warner Media and AEW.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is for that one, but I appreciate at least that, they're not like creating a whole bunch of titles. Like, WWE already has the Intercontinental title and the United States title. So it's like, if they make a United States title or an Intercontinental title, it's going to be like, oh, copycat.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, you don't want to be the Intercoastal champion.
No. Right.
So it's like, I guess TNT is like the next best thing, and at the very least, they might have to ask for a little forgiveness, and like these shows are not going to be, doing well because they're ratings wise because of, the empty arena thing is totally over. People are over it. They don't want to watch it. People are sick, so they're not watching in general. But at the same time, it's just depressing to watch these shows, like with no crowd. And it's like, how much more can you take? So from last week to this week, they did so AEW and NXT combined, this is a combined number, did 1.488 million viewers. This week they did 1.275. That's down 14% from the week before.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it going up anytime soon. In fact, I can almost see it getting lower.
Yeah, I can see it dropping.
And it's just, so at this point it's like, okay, let's create the TNT title, and that'll make everybody happy in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe we'll get people watching. I don't know. We'll see.
I know.
We'll see.
But it could be quite some time before they have anybody in the arena. So this could be the new normal for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Which is quite scary. So, Jerome,
yes.
I understand that, we've had her on before. Gabby, she's a big old AEW fan.
She is. Yep. So, here. All right. Here she is.
Hi, Mr. Tedesco. How are you?
Doing good, Gabby. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
Just want quarantine to get over.
Oh, I know. It's miserable.
They canceled riding lessons because I do horseback riding.
Oh, you do?
So they canceled it all the way through May.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, my sister used to do that too. She was on horseback. I even jumped on the back of a horse once. And it's too freaky for me.
I also own a horse too, so that's part of it.
Oh wow! Wait, did you say you fell on one or?
I fell off of my horse.
Oh boy! Yeah. See, that's the one thing I don't want. I don't want to get on anything where I can fall off and all of my favorite there's so many historical figures that have been kicked in the head by horses. I'm like, I'm good. It's like St. Thomas Aquinas was kicked in the head by a horse. Anyway, I don't want to scare you from horses. That's not why we're here.
With them for 3 years.
Yeah. How long you been riding for?
3 years.
3 years.
I started 3rd grade.
Oh boy! All right. So, we spoke a little bit before the show, and I this is a special Wrestleview news for us, number 5, part of our WrestleMania week coverage. You're not all that excited about the TNT title. Let's talk about that. Please explain.
I'm really not. They're thinking like WWE here. Like, it's just like, why? Just call it like it is. How much did TNT have involved with this title? And it's like, why are the wrestlers going to take this seriously, or if they're going to take it seriously, because they're just thinking like WWE Juniors here right now at this point in time.
I know. I thought it was a weird name for a title. I was just talking with your dad about that in terms of, the WWE already has the Intercontinental title and they have the United States title. So, if AEW said, okay, we're going to create a new title called the AEW Intercontinental title, everybody would be like, you're a copycat. So TNT is like, makes everybody happy,
the
ones who pay the big bucks to have them on the air.
Yeah. Very.
But what do you think, as a fan, somebody who enjoys the product, how do you feel watching these empty arena shows?
It's weird because I normally see fans, sold out arenas, different states. All these fans are excited to see this wrestlers, and I was thinking Blood and Guts was going to be sold out, but now with everything going on, they've rescheduled it. And we don't even know when the heck it's going to happen now. Yeah, we don't even know if it's going to be sold out arena or if there's going to be people in it. Because at this point, they're just doing empty arena shows.
Yeah, it's a scary prospect. But as a fan, I still love watching wrestling. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing stuff like this. So much of the fun for me is not even so much watching the wrestling. I enjoy watching wrestling. I like the whole performance of it, but the crowd adds so much to the shows, and it's just, to me, it's missing so much.
It makes the shows more lively.
Yes, lively. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, a guy can come out and cut a promo until he's blue in the face. If there's no one there reacting, it's like, you don't really, at this point, you watch these shows so much and you just listen to the crowd. It's like, it just becomes like a thing in your mind where it's like, okay, if I hear the crowd cheer, this means it's a good promo. Now I have to decide whether it's a good promo or not. It's like, I don't have anybody helping me decide that.
Yeah, and the wrestlers are being the fans. It's just not the same as sold out arenas and fans, cheering them on and stuff like that. Right. I really miss that.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, the TNT title tournament looks pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be very hot and bloody. I like blood and violence.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Vince McMahon would not like you. You like blood and guts. He is not a blood and guts fan.
No, he really isn't. No. He's more of a PG guy that doesn't allow blood. That's it. I'm hoping there's barbed wire.
Ooh, wow. They've done barbed wire in the past in this company quite a few times, which is it's had different effects. Like I remember watching Jon Moxley's debut against Joey Janela. Wow, that match was gross with the use of with the use of barbed wire. It was like I didn't know how far they were going to take it. At first, I was like, well, gee, what do they want to be, like ECW Junior? Like, because like I like barbed wire, like I like weapon matches, but not all the time. You know, so you watched AEW Dynamite. You want to give us a brief rundown of that? What did you think of it?
Well, I thought the beginning was actually really cool because Cody had his dog, Pharaoh. I thought that was pretty cool. And they were standing out in the middle. They were standing on the floor in front of the ring talking to nobody. It's fine. It all works. And then they moved. And then it was just Vanguard 1 came out. That was funny. What they did with Vanguard.
I saw that segment. That was hilarious when he gets out and he goes, "I want to get you. He stole my T-shirt." Yeah,
come join the inner circle. Hey, come back. You stole my T-shirt. And then it's just crazy after that. I like the tag team match at the end. That was crazy.
I saw some highlights from that. It did look really good when I was putting up the highlights on the post this morning. I was like, wow, this is, you know. Oh, I gotta tell you. Deep down, I am a big Darby Allin fan. Just something about that guy. Like, I didn't know how to feel about him at first, but I saw him wrestle Chris Jericho when they were in Philadelphia. I think it was like the third episode of Dynamite or fourth episode of Dynamite or something like that. And he was handcuffed and he was still doing all these crazy dives. I was like, this is pretty. This guy's got something here.
It's like Orange Cassidy. He jumps with his hands in his pockets and lands feet first.
Right. Yes. Orange Cassidy, who's a huge favorite among the Wrestleview faithful around us. You know.
It's like Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean. He lands on his feet every time.
Oh, there. Yeah. Exactly. Like kind of like a cat. Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, all good movies except for that last one was just okay.
Which one? The fourth one or Dead Man Tell No Tales?
Well, the fourth one, the one with Blackbeard.
Stranger Ties.
Yeah. That one was just like, meh.
What were your thoughts on AEW?
Well, I haven't watched the show in its entirety. I've only seen clips of it. I always like anytime I see something with Jake Roberts, that's like the first thing I watch. You know, because I'm a huge Jake the Snake Roberts fan. I was really interested in the debut of Lance Archer.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure, honestly, right now. Just thinking about it right now, I think I might have called him Lance Hoyt on like one of the posts. I might have to go back and change that. But when he chokeslammed Marco's stunt off the apron of those people,
and then he threw him. Like
I feared for his life.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
but it was a very good show.
Yeah, you know what? They're always a solid show, and for whatever reason, even though like they're dealing with the same thing WWE does, their show just seems a lot more fun to watch. You know, like I can't say that. You know, I watched NXT last night, and they had a really, you know, because I recap NXT. They had a really, really good main event with Keith Lee versus Damian Priest versus Dominik Dijakovic. They all worked hard, but there's nobody in the crowd. There's nobody clapping. You know, it's just the commentators, and one of them was Sam Roberts, which automatically just made me upset. And like, it wasn't as like it didn't feel to me as much fun as like watching the clips from AEW did, because they still have people like, you know, hooting and hollering and like making noise. I want to hear noise, even if it's like from 5 people. I'd rather hear that than like grunting and slamming and chops and like, you know.
I watched Friday Night SmackDown last Friday from the beginning, 10 minutes through. I'm like, I'm done.
I know. Ugh.
What? Turned on live PD. 15 minutes to live PD. I want to see SmackDown. Oh, look, they're talking. Oh, look, I could sleep through this. Turn that off. 20 minutes. Oh, look, they actually have a good match. Watch the match. I'm like,
I know.
Why?
They're
just not lively anymore.
It just doesn't feel. I mean, they're working with what they got, you know, and they really are trying to stick to the guidelines, but it just doesn't feel like it's like a happening show, like when you're watching it in this sense, you know, where AEW is using the same production. You know, it's like it's a wrestling show, and
yeah, it's an actual wrestling show that people can watch and enjoy, and then want to come back the next week and watch it again because it's lively.
Like WWE was taping all these shows in the Performance Center. You're telling me that there's not a bunch of guys that are training that wouldn't love to just sit in the front row and make noise?
Right, like AEW is doing.
Right.
Just making it feel more lively.
Right. And like the one thing I loved when AEW went to the empty arena was that they taped the stage, like, so they changed where the camera was, so it's always pointing at the stage and you're not looking at empty seats.
Right.
WWE like had their thing facing empty seats, and it just seems so weird when they finally, in a sense, copied AEW and moved it to face the stage. It improved it. Why can't they also copy them and put people in the front row? Just get some Performance Center guys and just have them clap. Anything. Yeah.
My favorite part about the match at the end is that Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears were betting. They were putting money in. They're saying 50, 15 seconds, 100, 20 seconds. I'm like, MJF. That reminds me of MJF. But in the ring, they're throwing money in the ring. It was just, It was a really entertaining match.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I was looking at the pictures that AEW sent me today, and I just saw. I was like, why is he doing that? Like there was like a picture of Sammy Guevara like shoving money into his tights. I was like, what?
Like, he pulled it out of his tights too and threw it in the ring.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Look at Sean Spears. I'm like, why would they pull it out of their tights?
Why couldn't
they make tights with pockets?
I know. I don't. Actually, that would have been hilarious. That would actually be hilarious.
All the time, they don't have pockets.
So I had to go to Josh Batwell's recap and like, what was going on here? I had to check it out. So overall, you said you liked the show.
Yeah. I give it 100 out of 100.
Oh wow, that's a heck of a grade. Well, Gabby, thank you for joining us and giving us your little rundown on AEW and your thoughts on the TNT title, which you were.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no, my pleasure.
Bye.
Bye. So the TNT title, Jerome. That bracket, the bracket does look pretty solid.
It does look good. Yeah. So it's hard to say who they're gonna put that title on, but I'm gonna think that they probably will go with maybe. I don't think they're gonna go with Cody. I can't see them. They might, maybe, but I don't know. I'm thinking Lance Archer maybe.
I'm thinking that too, and you know, like this is supposed to culminate at Double or Nothing, and Lance Archer. Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah. So Lance Archer is targeting Cody. If Cody's on one side of the bracket, Archer's on the other side, they can meet in the finals at Double or Nothing, and I could see them putting on Lance Archer. I really could, especially with Jake.
Yeah, I can too. But will they have Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, Nevada, on May 23rd?
That's the big question. It doesn't feel like they probably will, but we shall see, Jerome. So let's talk. Is there any other news that we have missed, Jerome, so far?
Oh, I'm gonna have to cheat. Look, I don't know. I can't think. I mean, it's been a busy news week.
It has. Most of the stuff was pertaining to WrestleMania. Now they did sign some interesting deals. So they have a deal with Fox Sports to run WrestleMania at $60 for the 2 nights.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to pay for that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I still don't think people are going to fork out $60 for 2 nights for that show. I just can't see it happening.
No, and very interestingly enough, they also made a deal with Fight TV to stream WrestleMania. What a coup for Fight TV! But
because part of Fight TV doesn't Anthem have some stake in Fight TV?
I think so. Yeah, I believe they do. Something like that.
Yeah, and I saw earlier today that the Royal Rumble show, the 2020 Royal Rumble, that they ran on FS1 garnered 421,000 viewers, which I don't think is too bad for FS1 for an old pay-per-view or not really an old pay-per-view, but a pay-per-view that's from several months ago.
Well, people just love the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and I still think, could this be the future for WWE, testing the waters to see if they want to funnel out their big four pay-per-views to Fox?
Right. I kind of looked at that as, because they said in February when the fourth quarter 2019 financial results came out that they were looking to do, an over-the-top streaming service
right,
with a big company, and they said that they would announce it in the first quarter. Well, the first quarter is almost over.
Yeah,
I think they felt like they had to announce something, and it's not what the investors were looking for. But right now, at this point, the stock market's such a mess that nobody really cares. What if WWE's making good on all their promises? Well, actually,
right.
there are people that care very much. I'm not telling you.
Oh yeah. And are they dumping their 3-tier idea? Have they put that on hold, or they just scrapped that completely?
I think that was a George Barrios idea, and when he left. Or when he was fired or relieved of his duties, pick your description.
Right.
I think that idea probably went with him.
Yeah, it was a stupid idea anyway.
I personally don't like the idea at all of selling, WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Royal Rumble and Survivor Series to like Amazon and like, okay, well you have the WWE Network and that's great, but now you have to pay $40 to watch SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then what's the point of having the network?
Exactly. Right. I wouldn't subscribe to it for that.
And it's like they make these deals, $59.99 to get for both nights on Fox Sports on their app, $59.99 to watch on Fight TV for both nights.
Right. Yeah.
And the pay-per-view companies, some of them are, some of them are $60, some of them are $50. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And even though they're making all these deals with these people to show WrestleMania, they're still undercutting every single one of them. So it's like they signed a deal that they're undercutting before the pen's even on the paper. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's like, what's the, I don't know. I don't see it, unless it's like, Fox is like, well, if 3,000 people, order WrestleMania through us, let's just say it's just 3,000, like what would that be? So at $60, that would be like what, $18,000, like a found money or whatever.
Sure.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not 18,000, 180,000 in found money. Yeah, sorry.
Right.
Math is not my friend right now.
Yeah, I can only do a fraction of algebra, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can add fractions
Yeah.
together.
That's pretty good. So it's like, that would be all found money for them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Or to be, I guess,
Unless you think that cookie sandwiches is, top news. I don't know.
That's like old news from like January. Good Humor sent me the press release. I was like, I'll put it up. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's really anything else.
So that's pretty much it then. So everybody, you can consider yourselves officially caught up on the news as of Thursday, April 2nd. More to come, I'm sure. And as we go on, WrestleView Weekly tomorrow night after SmackDown, where Doug will be making his WrestleMania predictions, and WrestleView Live, there'll be a lot of news coming out, I'm sure, from Saturday and Sunday's WrestleMania.
Yep.
And post Raw, and then post Raw is probably going to be like the one to watch, because it's like, what's next? What's next? Is that
what happens after this?
Is that the last post Raw we're going to do for a while? I don't know. We shall see. But Jerome, it's always a good time when we get to sit and talk the news and chat.
Yes. I always enjoy it.
Me too. And we'll do it again next week, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of news for next week. In the meantime, I am Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of WrestleView.com.
And I'm Jerome Wilen, a news reporter for Wrestleview.com.
Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend and enjoy WrestleMania.
Yes.